Hey folks, I just wanted to do a review for you and a brand new video on my brand new Canon HF-R40 camcorder. It's so awesome to be able to actually see in the LCD, the LED, whatever you want to call that, the flip screen, what I'm actually doing. Now, I'm still using the Audio-Technica AT-R3350, I think is what it's called. And I'm still using the same batteries that I used when I bought it over a year ago. This thing is amazing. You really got to check one out. For when I got it over a year ago, it was like $17. Totally worth it. You really need to check it out. And it looks like it's really peeking out on the camera. As I'm looking at the viewfinder, it actually shows me a recording level, which is a really good feature I didn't even know it had. So today's video is going to be a review that I've been wanting to do for a long time. And I've just been kind of putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, and it really needs to get done. And now that I got a new camera to motivate me, I decided let's go ahead and get it done today. It's a beautiful Saturday here. It's a week before Christmas, and so I don't know when this will be released. I'll try to release it as soon as possible. But got a lot of good stuff, videos and things like that coming your way. A lot of good things happening. So I'm using my Ibanez RG4EX1 like I've had for the last few years, or the last year, a little over a year I've had it now. I actually did a review on this one a year later. If you'll check out my YouTube channel, you can see that. But today's review is going to be totally different. It's going to be another pick review. Now, I know you've seen many reviews of the picks that I like, and you've heard my opinions on them, especially on electric guitar over the years, but I think I finally come up with the perfect pick for my style of playing. And we're going to get right into that. We're going to actually do a comparison review today on the two different Dunlop Jazz picks. Okay, now the first one is a Dunlop Jazz 3, which I don't know how good this is going to be able to focus or whatever. It's supposed to have an autofocus, but it's got a Jazz 3 here, and this is just a regular old Jazz 3. It's very small, and I've been using this for a while, experimenting with it and getting a feel for it. Before that, I was using, what are they called? I've already forgot about them. That's how long it's been since I've used them. Well, you can see there's a Christmas tree on top of the pick holders that I have now. But anyway, it was, oh, it's going to kill me unless I find out what it is. Let me move the Christmas tree here where you can really see it. You can gaze at that while I'm looking at what these are called. Dava. The Dava grip tip picks. I used those for a while because I wanted to have a nice sharp pick and be able to still have control, but they were a little flimsier than what I wanted. So I went out searching, and finally, because of Robert Baker and him recommending, and several other awesome players like Eric Johnson, Rick Graham, also on YouTube, recommending the Jazz pick, I decided to pick one of these up. I really was hesitant about it because it's so small, it's so tiny compared to a regular pick, and I'm going to show you a regular size picker in just a minute that I'm comparing it with. But this thing is so small, but what I found out was I really wanted to shape my picking up and really get more control out of my picking and precision. And I found that what happened was the less surface I had to hold on to and had to grip. I mean, it's so small, there's not much surface that I can grip on. The less surface that I have to grip, the more control, the more it forces me to be more in control and more precise with my picking. So it was really an eye-opener in that sense, that I was really finding that I was more in control and more precise with my pick movements, and really didn't realize that I didn't have to move a whole lot in between the strings. Didn't have to have a lot of motion. I studied a lot of picking, studied a lot of different guys. Pebble Brown is another one that talks about picking, and he's got an intense workout on that on YouTube. But I found this pick to be really effective in helping me hone my ability to pick more precisely. So the pick we're going to be comparing this to is another Jazz pick, but this time, instead of the regular Jazz pick we're used to, this is going to be comparing it with the John Petrucci Signature Jazz 3 pick. Okay, hope you can see that real well. That's the Signature Jazz 3 package, and this was a 6-pack. It says that it's designed with the progressive rock legend Designed with the progressive rock legend, the John Petrucci Jazz 3 is made from Ultex and features a raised grip and slick polished tip. Now, that's one thing about the regular Dunlop, is it's, I think, made of nylon from what I've been able to find. And I was really hesitant about the Ultex because I know the Ultex sounds really bright on acoustic guitar, and I stopped using it for that reason, unless I needed like to brighten up my dead strings or something like that. This was all before I found out about the blue chip pick. So I decided to try it out, and I've been wanting to try it out for a while, and I ordered some from back in October, I think is when it was. My brother had a birthday, and I thought, well, I'll just go ahead and split up some jazz picks. I'll give him 3 of the regulars and 3 of the John Petrucci ones and see if he likes them too, and then that way I can go ahead and order some and have some for me. So he got 3 of those, and I'll get 3 of those. And this is what it looks like. Now, if you'll notice, I don't know if you'll see this first, but on the front and the back of the regular pick, you have the the JD Jazz 3 logo here. I'm not sure if you can see it or not, and I don't have a remote control just yet so that I can zoom in on this stuff. So I will be getting one of those in the future, so that you don't have to see me get up and sit down, between takes and all that. The other side is the actual Jim Dunlop logo, and you kind of got to get a feel for which side you want. Now, yeah, I can tell that that's showing up when I move that in the sunlight. So that's the Jim Dunlop signature, whatever you want to call it, and this is the JD Jazz 3 logo side. And you kind of got to get a feel for which side feels better in your hand when you're picking. Well, with the John Petrucci one, this is what it looks like, and it's the same logo on both sides. And as you can see, the top half is more of a kind of a grip friendly surface, and the bottom is polished. It's very bright and shiny, and I still find that it tends to slip around a little bit in my hand, but the logo isn't as obtrusive as this logo here on the Jazz 3, the regular Jazz 3. So I really like the feel of this, and I think this is the pick I'm going to be sticking with. It's kind of a it's probably a 1.5 millimeter. I mean, it's pretty sturdy and stiff. The other one is probably the same thickness, but if I can do like a size comparison here, here's what they look like together. See if I can get them together here. This one is the JP, this one is the regular Jazz. Look how much bigger the JP is, guys. I mean, I still like the stiffness of the Jazz, but I wanted a regular size pick. And that's when I discovered the JP John Petrucci Jazz picks. And I'm really pleased with them, really happy with them. And I just want to, kind of go over some of those benefits today. First of all, one thing I do when I'm testing picks is especially on an electric guitar, is I test what they're going to sound like unplugged. Okay, I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this or not in this microphone, but let's see what happens here. I'm using the JP, and I usually test it around somewhere in the 12th fret, 15th fret, and just do some licks and things like that, and see how loud the string sound is and how much clarity I get with it. Now I'm seeing that's picking up in the camera, that's good. Okay, so it's got a lot of snaps, got a lot of pop, and so let's try the nylon one, the regular Jazz 3, and see how it sounds. Still got some nice clarity, but I feel that the JP probably shines through just a little bit more than the Jazz 3. Now, both of them are great sounding picks. I've tried them against other picks, and you would not believe just how dull sounding some other picks sound. I mean, you don't get that clarity, you don't get that sharpness. It's almost inaudible, some of these picks that you can use for this. So another thing is just ease of playing, and I'll tell you that the JP is a lot easier to play simply because it's a bigger size. Now, I still recommend, if you want to really whip your picking into shape, you get a Jazz 3, your regular one. And don't get it like a 6-pack or whatever. Just go to a local store, and buy one individually. And then go buy a 6-pack of the JPs, because this will help you really get control and precision in your picking. Not only that, but you still need to study the greats, like Eric Johnson, John Petrucci, and some of the greats on YouTube like Robert Baker and Leonardo Guzman, I think's his name, Rick Graham. Study some of those guys, and Yngwie Malmsteen. Learn just how small of a movement you have to have. One of the really good programs to take is one by a guy named Troy Grady, and the name of the course slips my mind, but it talks about the mechanics and the science behind effective picking and effective picking styles, like economy picking versus alternate picking, all these other things, and I cannot remember what it's called. I'll tell you what, let me look that up real quick, and we'll be able to see what that is called. It's a really effective thing, and there's a lot of free videos on YouTube from it that he has. He also has, just a regular course that you can buy for like $30, and it's totally worth it, in my opinion, just to get an idea. Once you have this knowledge, it's a lot easier. It's called Cracking the Code by Troy Grady. It's a very amazing program, and he has a lot of good free resources on there. So now I was hoping that there it is, the camera has a time clock on it. So we're around a little over 12 minutes. So anyway, I would definitely recommend getting a small, maybe 1 or 2 of the Jazz 3s before you order any of the other ones, and get a feel for it. And then if you want to, get you some JP picks, because they're really fast. One thing that makes them fast, I don't know if they're faster or not. You would definitely, excuse me, get my tongue tied. You would basically take and do the tremolo test. So that's picking one note very fast. And now I'm going to try it with the regular Jazz. Now, both of them are very fast, but since the JP has that polished tip like we talked about, it tends to be a little slicker, and it glides a little bit better off the strings than probably just the regular Ultex. Even though the Ultex, not Ultex, Jazz 3, the regular Jazz 3 is still probably I've found one of the best picks out there, just for the ability to increase your precision and your picking ability. Now, I haven't played much at all, but we can try testing some of this out, and I'll probably get a different setting because this is a little bit echoey and delay, heavy in delay. But just to doing some alternate picking stuff, give you an idea of how my opinions as I play on this pig. Yeah, that's a little too much delay. Let's try that without the delay on here. I'm going to try it without the chorus. Okay, now we'll try the Jazz 3, the regular. Both of these really have a good fluidity about them, but I'm telling you, that small pick size of the Jazz 3 is really what makes or breaks it for me. To practice with, yes, I recommend it. Playing live with it, I just can't see it happening because it's so easy to lose. Another thing, it just seems like it's really slick. There's really not a good grip on it to me, and it really takes a minute to get it around there. The JP is kind of the same way, but once again, there's more to grab onto. There's not that lack of just even a millimeter or two of surface area really makes a big difference. And I recommend the JP Petrucci John Petrucci Jazz 3 signature picks because of that. I'm probably going to be sticking with these for a long time, and I have been playing quite a bit on them, and I haven't really seen much wear on either one, on either the Jazz or the JP. Now I use 9-gauge strings, which is 9 to 42, and I've been using those for years. I've tried 10s many times, and I just can't do it. I've tried hybrids of a mix between 9 and 10s, and I still like 9s. A lot of the top players still use them, and I still prefer them, and that's what I've been using for a long time. So basically, as you can see, it wasn't hard to do, alternate picking on either one, but I could feel myself kind of, tensing up when I was using a smaller pick because of that fear of losing it and not having that control like I'd like to have. Not precision, but control of the pick like I would have with the John Petrucci JP Jazz 3. So my review is I really prefer the Jazz 3. Now the other thing I was going to do was the drop test, the ever famous drop test. And this is what, I don't know if this has anything to do with sound, because in my opinion a lot of the sound comes from the pick material, but when you pick it, when you hold it in your fingers, the sound's going to change because it's kind of killing the sound. Whereas when you drop it on a table, yes, it's going to have that more of a sound because there's nothing holding it back, there's nothing stopping the sound. But anyway, here's the sound of the Jazz 3 regular. Let's see if we can get this close enough to my mic. Okay, we'll try that again. Oops. Okay, here's the sound of the JP Ultex. Hear that? It's a lot brighter, a lot clickier. Okay, so that's the sound test on that. Now, totally up to you. A lot of it deals with feel. This, if you're used to a thinner pick like Paul Gilbert uses, I think he uses a 0.6, which is an orange Dunlop Tortex. It's going to be a little bit of a jump from going to very thin and bendy to a thicker pick like these. So I recommend you probably go to a higher grade of what you already use, and then maybe switch over to one of these. But definitely, these are definitely worth the investment. I mean, it's only like I think the Petrucci was like $5.99 or something like that for a 6-pack, but they'll last forever. The Dunlop Jazz 3 was maybe $3.99 for 6-pack or 12-pack or something like that. I can't remember. The JP's only come in a 6-pack, unfortunately, as far as I know. But you can definitely get either one, whatever you would like to do. And for a link for that, please check out at the bottom in the show more area of the YouTube video. There's a special link there where you can go actually shop for these products on Amazon, and that link would be www.ericbeatty.com/shop, and I've set up a special link just for that, to where you can go shop for these on Amazon. And by doing so, it helps support my channel, because every purchase you make on Amazon with that special link, Amazon rewards me with a commission, and that helps me fund into getting more materials and getting more strings and things like that to help fund all I do here on YouTube and the many channels I have online, to try to help educate people with guitar and many other things. So thanks so much for your support. My review is I prefer the JP pick, the JP Jazz 3 over the little Jazz 3, but the little Jazz 3 is a good starter to get you more precise picking, and working on that. Then you can go to a bigger pick like this. One thing that makes that happen is the fact that if you're used to a regular size pick, it's kind of, if you order the JP right away, it's not going to be much of a difference other than the gauge and maybe how the pick glides off the strings. But in my opinion, buying a totally different pick size when you're used to a standard, it kind of forces your mind to think a little bit differently, and it changes the way you pick, because now you're having to hold it a different way. You're having to be more precise with it, more controlled with it, and I've still, as much as I played with this, I've not gotten used to the size of it. So I decided I went ahead and got the JPs, and now that I've had that practice on the little Jazz 3, the JP is working just fine, and I still contain and retain that control that I had before. So my official review is buy this one for practice, the little Jazz 3, if you want to, and experiment with how well it helps you control a little bit better. on your picking and precision. And definitely, I prefer the JP John Petrucci Jazz 3 pick for the surface area, for the feel in my hand. That logo doesn't get in the way like the Jazz, the little Jazz 3 does. It feels really comfortable in my hand, and that makes me more comfortable playing the guitar. It makes me more of a better an of my guitar. So I'm just going to play a little bit, and then we'll take it out and say thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys, if I release this beforehand, hope you guys have a wonderful Merry Christmas. And I'm just going to take it out and play some stuff here. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next video. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.